The world is full of mysteries, and some artifacts have captivated human curiosity for centuries. Welcome to the intriguing world of the Dybbuk Box, a mysterious artifact with a haunting history. Encased in folklore and tales of the supernatural, the Dybbuk Box has captured the fascination and gained notoriety of countless individuals, skeptics, and believers alike for its alleged supernatural powers and the misfortunes it brings to its owners. In a world where the line between the physical and the metaphysical is often blurred, this relic, as ordinary as it may appear, is anything but. Whether you're a paranormal enthusiast or simply curious about the unexplained, prepare to be captivated by the mystique that is the Dybbuk Box. The Dybbuk Box, or the Dybbuk Box as some might say, gained public attention in the early 2000s. Its first recorded appearance was in 2001 when it was sold on eBay by a man named Kevin Mannis. It was in the item's description that Mannis first told the tale of the box's origin and its supposed haunting, a tale that quickly captured the public's imagination. According to Mannis, the box was a family heirloom belonging to a Polish Holocaust survivor named Havla. Havla had bought the wine cabinet in Spain before immigrating to the United States, and it was within this wine cabinet that she claimed to have trapped a Dybbuk. According to Jewish folklore, a Dybbuk is a malevolent soul that can possess the living, causing a range of physical and psychological disturbances. Now, belief in such spirits was especially prevalent in the 16th to 17th century in Eastern Europe. Now, often individuals suffer from nervous or mental disorders were taken to a miracle-working rabbi who alone, it was believed, could expel the harmful Dybbuk through a religious rite of exorcism. So Isaac Luria, a mystic who lived in 1534 to 1572, laid the grounds for Jewish belief in a Dybbuk with his doctrine of transmigration of souls, which he saw as a means whereby souls could continue their task of self-perfection. Now, his disciples went one step further with the notion of possession by a Dybbuk. Now, the Jewish scholar and folklorist S. Ansky contributed worldwide interest in the Dybbuk when his Yiddish drama Der Dybbuk, written in 1916, was translated into several languages and distributed. Now, the Dybbuk Box is said to have originated in Eastern Europe, where it was discovered and passed through various hands, each experiencing strange and tragic events, and even possession. Over the years, the Dybbuk Box has become a magnet for chilling tales and haunting stories. Its ominous reputation has led people to share their encounters with the box, detailing unexplained phenomena, eerie apparitions, and inexplicable misfortune. The exact origin of the Dybbuk Box remains shrouded in mystery. It is said to have been created during the early 20th century. However, tracing its lineage beyond that proves challenging, and many details are based on speculative accounts. But remember Kevin Mannis? According to him, the box remained in Havla's possession until her death. It was then sold at an estate sale where Mannis, who's an antique dealer, actually purchased it. So upon opening the box, Mannis reportedly found two 1920s pennies, a lock of blonde hair bound with string, a lock of black-brown hair bound with string, a small statue engraved with the Hebrew word shalom, a small golden wine goblet, one dried rosebud, and a single candle holder with 4 octopus-shaped legs. So soon after the box entered Mannis's possession, he, his mother, and many others who came in contact with the box reportedly began experiencing strange phenomena, including nightmares, unexplained health problems, and even ghostly apparitions. Intrigued by the story and eager to learn more, the box was purchased by a university museum studies director named Jason Haxton. So Haxton allegedly experienced health issues too, including coughing blood, hives, seeing shadowy figures darting around his peripheral vision, and more. So Haxton consulted scientists and Judaic scholars and even attempted to seal the Dybbuk back in the box using the traditional Jewish ritual of sage smudging. Did it work? Nope. So Dybbuk possession is a real thing. Get ready for a wild ride straight out of Jewish folklore, because here's the down low on how to spot if a soul from beyond has decided your buddy's body is the new hottest vacation rental. Remember, this isn't exactly science here. It's a bit more Twilight Zone than textbook. So imagine your best friend, usually the most chill person you know, suddenly turning into an Oscar-worthy portrayal of a drama queen, or your party-loving pal deciding that a wild night is alphabetizing their spice rack. Yeah, something's definitely fishy. A Dybbuk might be running the show. Now remember, a Dybbuk, according to Jewish folklore, is a restless, usually malicious spirit believed to be the dislocated soul of a dead person. It supposedly leaves the host body once it's accomplished its goal, sometimes after being helped. So by now you're wondering about the signs and symptoms of a Dybbuk possession, right? Well, one of the first signs that someone is being possessed by a Dybbuk can be a sudden change in personality or behavior. Now, we're not talking about someone just having a bad day or getting cranky because they skipped lunch. It's more like your mild-mannered friend suddenly has an anger issue, or your extroverted cousin is now inexplicably reclusive. Now, these changes can seem to come out of nowhere. Could it be a Dybbuk? So next, you might notice that the person starts speaking in a language they've never learned before, or using a vocabulary or style of speech that's totally out of character for them. Pretty strange, right? Now, physical symptoms can be another giveaway. Unexplained illnesses, fatigue, or even changes in their appearance might occur. And these aren't things that a simple visit to a doctor could explain. The person might also start to demonstrate knowledge of things that they couldn't possibly know. Now, this could be information about people, or places, or events they've never even encountered. Now, finally, and perhaps the most chilling, they may show an aversion to religious objects or holy places. This could manifest as anxiety, fear, or a feeling of intense discomfort. Now remember, these are just signs and they don't necessarily mean a Dybbuk possession. It's just folklore and has no basis in modern science or psychology. But if you know someone displaying these signs, it's always a good idea to seek professional help or medical advice first. Ah, the Dybbuk Box, that little box of horrors, has certainly made its rounds in pop culture, hasn't it? Let's chat about where it's popped up. Firstly, there's that spine-chilling movie called The Possession from 2012. This Hollywood horror flick was inspired by the tale of the Dybbuk Box. So the plot revolves around a young girl who becomes obsessed with an antique wooden box at a yard sale. Sound familiar? She's completely unaware of the terrifying spirit that dwells within. So as you can probably guess, it doesn't take long before strange and frightening things start happening. Now, the Dybbuk Box has also been referenced in the realm of reality television. It featured in an episode of Paranormal Witness, a series on Sci-Fi which told the tale of the box from the perspective of those who claimed to have come into contact with it. Even more, the Dybbuk Box was discussed on the Travel Channel show Deadly Possessions. Here, Zach Bagans, who also purchased the real Dybbuk Box, investigates the most haunted and cursed objects. So, spoiler alert, the box is one of them. And the box doesn't only make the appearances in horror contexts. Now, in the podcasting world, it's been mentioned in shows like And That's Why We Drink, a paranormal and true crime podcast, and Astonishing Legends, which delves into the strange and the unusual. So last but not least, the Dybbuk Box has made its rounds on YouTube. Popular internet personalities like PewDiePie have talked about the box in their videos, which has helped to spread its eerie legend to millions of viewers around the world. So in a nutshell, the Dybbuk Box has left its mark on movies, TV shows, video games, and the vast world of internet culture. It's an intriguing piece of folklore that certainly captured the public's imagination. Just remember, if you ever come across an old mysterious box at a yard sale, maybe just leave it be. Better safe than sorry, right? Does the Dybbuk Box really contain malevolent spirits that will leave you doomed to misfortune? Maybe. But let's tackle the mysteries of the Dybbuk Box with a healthy dose of skepticism and some good old-fashioned rational thinking. While the tales are intriguing and quite spooky, they are, after all, just stories. So the Dybbuk Box supposedly originated in the Jewish community, but there's a bit of a problem here. The concept of a Dybbuk Box doesn't exist in traditional Jewish folklore. The term was coined by Kevin Manis, which was the box's original seller. Now, in Jewish lore, a Dybbuk is indeed a malicious spirit, but there's no history of Dybbuks being trapped in boxes or any other object. So the accounts from the owners of the Dybbuk box are indeed chilling, but they are anecdotal. So while Kevin Manus, Losif Nix, I probably have said this name terrible, and Jason Haxton, he reported strange occurrences and health problems after obtaining the box. These could potentially be attributed to a range of causes, coincidence, power of suggestion, or even subconscious psychological reactions. Now, despite the eerie tales, no solid empirical evidence has been provided to prove that the Dybbuk box is responsible for any of the claimed supernatural events or health problems. It's essential to remember that correlation doesn't equal causation. Now, lastly, it's worth noting that many who have been associated with the Dybbuk box have financially benefited from its notoriety. So, for example, Kevin Manus sold it on eBay, Jason Haxton wrote a book about it, Zach Bagans has it on display in his museum, which attracts paying visitors. So, while this doesn't inherently discredit any of their experiences, it can be seen as a potential motive for perhaps maybe exaggerating or fabricating stories or even manifesting these feelings itself. So while the Dybbuk box makes for an interesting ghost story from a rational standpoint, there's no compelling evidence to confirm its supposed supernatural properties. It's a great example of how folklore and stories can captivate our imaginations, even in the modern age. Now, I'm not saying whether it's real or faked, but merely bringing up the differing viewpoints so you can decide for yourself. The Dybbuk box continues to be a captivating enigma that bridges a gap between folklore, superstition, and modern fascination with the paranormal. Whether it's a cursed artifact or merely a product of human imagination, its allure remains strong. As we navigate through its history, legends, and controversies, the Dybbuk box leaves us with more questions than answers, leaving room for wonder and exploration in the realms of the unknown. So thank you today so much for watching the video. If you've enjoyed it, please consider liking this video, leaving a comment, or sharing with your friends. Those things really help with the algorithm. If there's any particular topic you want us to cover, let us know. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like and share. Until next week, love, peace, and chicken grease.